Hey friends, it's 2025, 45 squared, and I just wanted to make a video while bringing this guy out for a walk, as I often do. And I guess we'll do a general status update. It's becoming very clear to me now that I want this year to be primarily focused on essay writing, which I've talked about. You know, past 2 years I've been ruminating on it, posted some stuff, and it's kind of like I have all this stuff backstage that I keep reworking and messing about. But this year I want to have a production schedule. I want to upload at least one post every single week. I'm like lining them up, like okay, here's like 12 posts that I'm gonna sand off the edges and cleave at the joints and publish, and we'll see how that plays out. Will YouTube take a back seat? I mean, it never was in the front seat. It was in the front seat in 2020. So in 2020 I was making like these long 40-minute or hour-long videos every day, and that was a worthwhile experiment. But I also knew that, I didn't expect it to blow up because it's just not polished, it's not easy to consume. I'm a nobody yet on YouTube, and I don't regret it. I feel like I've become more confident in speaking, which is what allows me to make these shorter videos, which is great. But I'm tired of tweeting. I'll still tweet again. Like, tweeting is natural for me. I do it without thinking. Yesterday I was in a group chat and someone quoted something and I was like, that's interesting, and I'll tweet about it. And I ended up tweeting about it for like 40 minutes, which was like a thread of maybe, 12 to 13 tweets. And that just happens to me all the time, like over the past decade. Right? So my most quoted oldest thread that I still quote is from 2014. It's about the MVP model of personal development. Anyway, so I expect to still be tweeting. I expect to still be doing YouTube videos at least monthly. But I would like to focus all of my efforts on my Substack and just publishing a collection of essays that people share and can read and can comment. And so I'm excited about that. A bit scared, but it's time. I'm more afraid of not doing it and having I published Fan in 2020. I published Introspect in 2022. It would have been nice to have done something epic in 2024, but I guess what I did was this guy. Right? So okay, you can't do everything, but I want to have a major outward facing public work done this year. I'm ready. I'm gonna do it. I'm just just gonna do it. and none of the preparation is wasted. There's some nice sunlight. Anyway, none of the preparation is wasted. It's just I was going through my notes. I was tidying up my blog, and it felt good. I felt like I was making some minor breakthroughs in my concept of how I'm arranging my posts and what belongs where, what the centers are. Today I was watching a video about Christopher Alexander, who I may have spoken about before, I've definitely written about before. And it's just principles of architecture, and think about what your centers are, think about what the users and the behaviors you want to enable are. What is this place for? Who uses it? What do they want to be doing? What do these objects or this environment encourage? What do they allow? What kind of liveliness comes out of these spaces? Those are all questions that I have learned to start asking better of my work, of my writing. Like, what is this blog post for? What feelings are you supposed to have when you read it? Where are you going to use it? Who are you going to share it with? How are you going to remember it? I already think about those things with my tweets, I guess, which is part of why I got tired of my blog at some point, or kind of sad and depressed. Not depressed, but just sad, because I started out as a blogger, right? And I started tweeting. I also had a Twitter account since like 2008, and I was blogging also around that time. But when my tweets started taking off and I had a group of friends to tweet with, and just the activity there made my Twitter corpus, my body of work on Twitter, much more lively / advanced / just better in every sense, almost every sense, except like there's some levels of depth that you can't quite reach with tweets alone. And some of my blog posts or essays have that depth that my tweets struggle to match. And that's just a different medium thing. Like, you want to get the most out of each medium. But yeah, I still love having a website with your name on it. I love curating reader experiences for people. And you know, I spend so much time being Twitter brained, right? Like thinking in tweets, thinking in terms of the timeline, that it's a bit difficult to switch to thinking about longer reading experiences. Like, what is an essay for? What state of mind is a person in when they're reading it? What are they looking to get out of it? And not necessarily in a very narrow utilitarian sense, like, oh, this is supposed to change my life, or this is supposed to improve my this thing or that thing. It could even just be, you know, here's a thing to contemplate for 10 minutes. And, you know, just describe things beautifully. Just describe things well is a gift. But there's a lot I want to do. I want to do it regularly with some discipline, right? Which I used to do. You know, so I'm going full circle in this, I guess. Full circle, where I used to be much more intense about writing. In 2010, 2012, 2013, 2015, those years, I was like, oh, I gotta grind and write. And I mean, even then when I was doing it, I tried to do it with taste and with standards and so on. And then since I left my job in 2018, I think I've just been kind of, let's just see what happens. And I wrote a couple of books which involved some grinding. But there were days where I didn't write anything at all, and I was just, sometimes weeks where I didn't write anything at all. I was just like holding the book in my head, in my body, and just waiting to see what happens. And I do think that's part of the creative process. And while I'm in that project, it feels a little bit wrong, it feels a little bit stupid or something. But when I look back at the lull periods of time while I was working on my stuff, it's so obvious that those were necessary. And I think as I evolve as a creative, I'm going to get better at using lull times, down times, you know, in a way that serves my process. I don't want to say using it better or using it more creatively. Like, all of that still, you know, there's nuance to the creative process that can be hard to put into words. And it's almost like, do you want to get good at describing it, or do you want to get good at it? You know, get good at doing it. I would rather get good at doing it, and there's always time to describe it later. Yeah, so I'm gonna start publishing essays. I might do one tonight maybe, or tomorrow, and then I'll try to like set things up in a way that I can schedule one to be published every week-ish. I don't know how that'll go. I'll make another video about how that's going as I'm doing it. Anyway, Happy New Year. Hope you guys are well. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what's exciting for you this year. What's coming up. What's going on. Done. Take care. See you.